some additional comments about our three-man cup zone. First of all, downfield defenders, monsters, wings, as well as the short deep. A, you shouldn't be spending too much time focusing on the disc and the thrower who has it. You should be spending almost all of your time tracking the motion of the offense as it moves around downfield, peripherally keeping aware where the disc is and what's happening to it, to make sure that you cut off all the throwing lanes and stop motion of the offense away from the handlers and down the field. Now, there is one player who has primary responsibility for making sure that the offense in fact stays contained, and that is the monster. It doesn't mean the monster has to stop every throw downfield to the players, but the monster is the brains of the zone defense. And as the brains, you have to be deploying your wings as well as your short deep so that the offensive handlers really don't have any lanes to throw the disc to these downfield players. To do that, you really have to be focusing on where these players are, how they're moving, and talking constantly to your wings and to your short deep, telling them where to go, what cuts to watch out for, and where to move either in, forward, back, wherever it's necessary. If the monster is not really constantly talking to these players, you're not doing your job correctly. Okay, wings. Wings, you have a brain to tell you what to do. Listen to your monster. Do what the monster says. If he tells you to go back, go back. If he tells you to pinch in, pinch in. Tells you to push forward, push forward. Now, if you don't happen to get any instructions from the monster, because maybe the monster is talking to the other wing, don't find yourself standing alone in an empty area where there's no offensive player. Keep in mind that your primary responsibility is out here, but if there's no one out there, find somebody that's nearby and move, maybe help the short deep inside, but keep looking around. Don't focus too much again on this disc, because there's probably somebody who's going to try to take advantage of any space that you leave open, in which case you're responsible for going back out there and making sure that person is covered. So the other issue that comes up sometimes is crashers. So first of all, if the offense is relying on crashers into the cup, don't despair. Many people get unhappy if that happens, but if the offense is doing that too much, it means that they can't find throwers or targets downfield to throw to. That doesn't mean we give them a free pass. We want to put pressure. So let's think about where these crashers come from. So there's basically three ways into the cup. Either the popper coming in on either side of the top of the cup, and in this case, the short deep can follow in, but not all the way into the cup. The short deep instead should be telling the top of the cup, in this case, crasher left or crasher right, to let the top of the cup know where to move. It's important the short deep doesn't go in, because as the top moves in here to cover the crasher, it can leave an open lane back here, and the short deep has to be ready to fill that lane. In addition, the top of the cup here can be, or should be, in fact, constantly looking over his shoulder, glancing backwards, keeping track of what's happening down here and noticing if a crasher is coming in. The other place a crasher might come in is from underneath. The off point is responsible for that. So when you're playing off point, even though you're in the cup and watching the thrower, you are also aware of players around you. In particular, you should be aware of this offensive player. If this offensive player moves out, as the off point, you can move out also. If he moves in, you can move in. If he cuts up into the soft spot of this cup, you come in also. Prevent that easy reset for the handlers. Let's talk about what happens with the trap. Notice with the trap, let's move the sideline from out here. Say this person with the disc actually is near the sideline. This cup basically is keeping its positions relative to each other the same, except this off point is coming back here. This one who's the on point steps back to 3, maybe even, actually I find it's even better to be 4 or so meters back, but otherwise these two players have maintained the same position, and this point is taking a 45-degree mark over here. Now your wing is up the line, the top of the cup allows a little sliver here, and your short deep is taking this lane. Now it's important that this on or the off point who's now marking not try to put the mark this way, because you don't want to let the throw over here to a handler who can then swing it over here, and that becomes basically impossible to stop. It's okay, on the other hand, if the throw goes straight down the line, because you're able to come back and maintain your trap. As you had it before. So in general, to stop this, remember as the marker, and in fact for any of the players in the cup, don't lunge. Hold your position. As soon as you lunge for the disc, you'll create holes, and most of the time that the cup gets broken and the throw goes through the cup, it's because somebody has lunged out of position, leaving a space for the thrower to throw the disc. All right, last thing. Sometimes it's actually useful to do a force middle zone. So, okay, let's reset this. Here's my field. Let's say we have handlers here. This guy isn't too close to the sideline, so that your cup is like this. If you're off near the sideline but you don't have the trap, then there's no point in being out here. The off point squeezes up here. If this guy has really good break mark throws, the danger is a quick throw here, a quick throw here, and ideally the wing's going to be cutting that off, but you might have too many offensive players, and the throw quickly progresses down the field, breaks containment. If the offense is having success like this, it can often be useful to instead call for a force middle cup. This allows this player who's now tracking here, in fact, he'll probably want to be further back, to cut off that next swing if it goes back here, and that way prevent or make it much harder for this quick progress down the field. All right, so I think those cover all of the issues that we've had, questions we've had with our three-man cup zone.